the best of fives. Remember, the winner of this series also goes to Rift Rivals as a top 4 team. The team drops away. So second game of the series here. They'll cost Camille Nar with the blue side bans for SKT. KSV couldn't find a Kai'Sa ban. They banned away Azir, Xayah, and Swain. The Swain will remain banned, but something has to slip away if they do want to ban away the Kai'Sa.
Well, it seems like it might just be the same ones here. From SKT, could just be the Gnar for the final ban. Just go ahead and replicate everything. And I like what you said, earning their way into those best of fives. And this is kind of KSV, their last chance to really earn their way into the playoffs after getting placed in by Jin Air's victory over Rocks.
And neither of these teams are happy with how they got here. I think you allude to that well. Crown's tears, thinking they'd missed out into Jin Air doing them a favor, and then SKT stumbling over Kongnu Monster to actually make it to the playoffs, but you earn the right for a best of 5 with the victory here as two fallen sleeping giants are looking to turn on their season right at the end. The Xayah ban on blue side means that Gnar will escape the bans. The Azir taken away. So very, very interesting how things were adjusted right at the end. What does that mean for first pick priority for the side of SKT? It feels like Olaf will be answered by Trundle wherever available, and they might just take a Trundle blind pick and say, hey, if Cuvée is going to fall back onto a tank, we've got the top lane Trundle player in the name ready to go.
Yep. So we'll just go ahead and have that flex available to KSV. Yes, they do. Okay. They're just going to lock the Caitlyn in yet again.
Very, very strange to see the Caitlyn priority. Now, Varus has fallen away a little bit. If you're playing Varus, your build might actually be Rageblade Nashor's for a 2-item power spike. And it feels like Ruler is just not comfortable to jump back on his old faithful. This season has been dominated by Varus and Tristana. But the Tristana nerfs means that no one wants to play her in Korea. And that means the Caitlyn has jumped up. He's 0-2 on the season on Caitlyn, has wins in previous metas. But a reach for the Caitlyn that didn't really find them any success in his laning phase was very passive against the Kai'Sa. Action onto SKT, and they're just going to go for a jungle Trundle straight up.
Ooh, teasing us there. Flashing the Zed for a moment was Faker. But Galio's available, which means that it's just going to be locked in.
And now if you're Caitlyn Tom Kench, you have a pillar into a hero's entrance and a Gangplank ultimate to look forward to as map control wherever the Trundle goes. Very possible. With the globals available to SKT, seems like Crown will just default over to the Ryze. But remember that Cuvée is a legacy top lane Ryze player, and you can play top lane Ryze into Gangplank. There's no guarantee this will be a mid lane Ryze. Man, we have so many flex picks back in the meta out of nowhere, it feels like, in the last couple of weeks. And SKT says, wait, we remember that Cuvée is a top lane player, and we'll actually take the karma away.
Jin banned as well, taking that one off the board. Surprised that we didn't see maybe the priority over onto that one for KSV, just given Ruler's history with that pick.
You see Trundle, who has a ranged interrupt and also is a tank. True. And then it's Galio as well.
So no curtain call.
I'm not a big fan, as people will know from Twitter and other chats, of Jin into tanks, so the Jinx will also be banned. Old bang pick, but not one he's played this season.
Talia, yeah.
How much has happened in the last week? Under 8.6, everything has changed, and we're being split right to the bone here when it comes to trying to understand things. Talia banned away. So they're saying, well, we know all about the rise into Gangplank, so see what KSV makes of all it. Mid lane Zillion. Okay. We're going to have an old Crown pick. This is 2015 Crown, an old fly pick as well. 2016, I should say.
Yeah.
It's going to be Zillion mid lane. Okay.
This is an ancient one, and SKT, do they have something a bit crazy for us as well?
What are we doing with the Galio, guys? As they were playing around with a Kassadin, but it's going to actually be
through.
The Ezreal will be the safe choice. The Tristana will be the self-counter pick, but they could just try and gank the hell out of the bot lane. They go with the Ezreal, so Old Faithful. But Bang, one of our legacy Ezreal players. Could still be a Trundle support.
I don't know if we're out of the woods yet, but now with the Janna and the Braum flashes, I think that SKT are going to go ahead and stick to their guns and run what we expect. But for a second there, it was really looking like perhaps we would have the Galio open to the top lane with a mid-GP, just all over the place.
The mana costs are so out of whack now that if you're not going Catalyst, Rod of Ages on the Galio and getting blue buff, you're all the time. So we'll be Galio mid lane. SKT, so much control around where Trundle goes with Gangplank and Galio at his beckons call. Then they have Ezreal Braum for as much lane power as they could get to answer a Caitlyn lane. KSV have already been a bit wavered when it comes to actually making the Caitlyn lane work. Will Crown hold on to Ignite? Because you don't go for cleanse here. You can definitely die during just the taunt coming through from the Galio. Very squishy usually is the Zilean. Could be tier into Catalyst, into Rod of Ages. Wait and see what the build path is. It is a top lane Rise. KSV bringing it back. From 2015, he was a top lane Rise player. See what KSV can make of this. They chose red side in game number 2 after SKT chose blue, so we stay on the same sides. They have been able to get away from the Kai'Sa. They clearly could not handle when we reached late game. At least this time, the shoe is on the other foot in the top lane as Rise is able to all in and kill Gangplank, or at minimum get lane control, which was never open to KSV when he was on the GP in game number 1.
Well, all I can tell you right now is that this is going to be an insanely fast Skarner. Speed up from the Zilean Predator.
Yeah.
Just to zip him into that back line, lock down somebody like the Ezreal, and completely blow them up. Ambition, a very historic pick for him. Going to be looking to put SKT in the Ambition submission position here with the Skarner lock-in yet again. We'll see if he can pull it off. We'll see if KSV can extend their hopes to a game number 3. Otherwise, SKT are looking at a 2-0 and an entry into the best of 5s versus KT Rolster for yet another telecom war. Let's see who comes out on top as we jump in for game number 2.
미니언 생성까지 30초 남았습니다.
History definitely on the sides of SK Telecom T1. The last time we had a 3-game wildcard match was 2015 summer. Coup Tigers, of course, the Rocks Tigers now, and Kingzone in many ways. Beating Najin 2-1 was over 2 years ago. Level 1 ward put down by SKT, but they have to take a bit of damage. No pilfering from Bang, who has gone for Kleptomancy in this game. Still standard on Ezreal, even if Gangplank very rarely picks it up, and it is another Resolve Tree into Grasp of the Undying Gangplank in game number 2. Hey, a sack of gold.
Nice little bump there for him. We'll see how Tal is going to manage this time now that he's got the GP.
Been really unimpressed with Ruler and Core JJ's Caitlyn lanes. It's the 3rd time they've run it. They are 0-2. They haven't got a lot of lane control, and other top laners like Bang, for example, have not really been able to make the Caitlyn laning phase worth it. And then at 2 items, we all know that Ezreal will have much stronger spike than Caitlyn is only about pushing, and Shiv was nerfed on patch 8.6, so for a lot of reasons, if you can't pull off this lane, it's not worth investing into it. Caitlyn a much lower priority than an EU LCS in particular. So we'll wait and see if they're able to make it work a 3rd time. Ruler and Core JJ spent so much of the season duoing. The Caitlyn lanes really haven't been the same tonic to success that the Varus lanes have been traditionally for the side of KSV.
We'll see how they can get ahead here with the Caitlyn this time around. Ruler was trading back kills despite the losing team fights there for KSV. Did have a massive amount of damage done, I believe 2nd overall in the game, a bit more than Bang by the end of that. But oh dear, a 7-game losing streak. That's right, I didn't talk about this. The Skarner is cursed.
But it is Ambition Skarner, which you just did mention as we went into
this is why I'm not berating it right now.
The Ambition Skarner was one of the big reasons that Samsung Galaxy qualified for Worlds 2016. The big surprise over KT Rolster for the first time. It happened again, so I had to mention the year. But 2016, he brought back the Skarner. That was Trinity Force Warrior. Sadly, that build is probably gone, but still is a legacy pick for Ambition. Has a very famous meme around resembling a infamous Korean person, an axe murderer to be specific, but it's a very strange meme, but the Korean fans love it, so we roll it in there.
It's a classic.
A classic meme, the axe murderer meme.
It's the gift that keeps on giving.
Well, he's going to need to do some axe murdering this game.
He needed to do that in the last one when he actually had Axis.
I know, but we knew he wasn't going to be able to do it.
Yeah.
His Olaf, sadly, has fallen in line with most of his other champions. We're pre-level 6, which is where most of Olaf's dirty work is done. It's not really an area that Ambition has shined in. His Gragas game was actually fantastic in our last series.
That's true. I haven't seen him go over to that. Thought maybe, perhaps we could see that come through. But mid is Zilean last time. 2017 Spring, Faker versus Tempt.
Counterpick into the Talon. Very interesting.
beat a Talon as Zilean. Just Faker things.
It's just fun when you see old seasons, because you remember what's in meta recently. You always forget that, oh right, there was that Warwick meta on patch 420 and things like that, but these things always happen. Wonder of so many balance patches. 8.6 has already shown us so much change in Korea. It feels like the matches from these teams last week are almost irrelevant because so much has changed. On one of these mega patches, where I just said that the odd patches are the incremental ones and the even-numbered patches are the big ones, and this certainly is one of them, as Kai'Sa has entered and swiftly entered the ban list for game number 2.
Yeah, after that performance, kind of have to get rid of it. What with everything being buffed here on this patch. Crown for now, going to be looking pretty steady, has been getting those stuns in onto Faker and chunking him down on that Galio, so seems like he hasn't lost any of his prowess with this pick, but we'll see how that's going to translate into the late game fights when he's got a lot more to handle than just a Galio.
When you look at SKT, they have a lot of AoE damage, and usually you love the Zilean into single target damage. You see a Zed, you can get through the laning phase of Zilean, well, very, very happy to answer the death mark. This sort of game, the Zilean utility, you mentioned it already, the Turbo Skarner potential from the Zilean speed up is going to be useful. When you look at potential impale targets, probably going to have to be Blank or Effort. I guess Faker, if you'll see him available, do go more into the ability power rather than the resistances on the Galio these days. But then you'll need the backup damage. You could argue that Ryze and Caitlyn will get there. It's a lot about timings here, and a lot about the utility rather than just the chrono shift in this particular game on the Zilean.
Well, so far, no real cheeky plays coming through by anybody. KSV just going to have that control ward in the top side to make sure he's nice and safe.
It is a mana build, by the way, from Crown. He has gone for the early tier. It might be that he doesn't go for Rod of Ages. Just goes for the Archangel's Rush, which was slightly nerfed on patch 8.6. Does make him very, very squishy and a target in and of himself. If you're forcing Zilean to ult himself, you're pretty damn happy. That's usually how it has been through every Zilean meta.
KSV for now, going to be farming up relatively well. No Kleptomancy there for Tal either, so not going to be having that passive stacking gold outside of the parlay. If you want, still will be keeping up quite nicely given that passive, but Skarner's hovering around the bottom side of the map, has vision control over the Infernal Drake. I'm sure he would love to take that one away very early on, but at the moment seems like it may be just a bit out of his reach.
If you're wondering how this game plan is supposed to work from KSV, if the AoE and team fights might be a bit too much for them to bear, honestly, it's a bit of a rollback from game number 1, where they're able to, through the Caitlyn lane, take an early turret, create some long lanes, put down control wards. Their single target catch is immense. They have Impale, they have the Rune Prison from the Ryze, they have very strong pick CC and very strong sieging, because you double bomb around the turret, Caitlyn puts down 5 traps, and the enemy team's like, well, do we all in or do we give up a structure? Almost like the old Bannon from patch 8.4. So there's a lot of siege and a lot of ability to play around a vision lead. From behind, though, if SKT can just make this game very even, then choose their team fights, the amount of engage coming through from SKT may be too much. So that's the thing for KSV, is can they actually find the advantages around the Caitlyn lane that they could not in game number 1?
Well, right now going to be finding an advantage here with this Dragon. Infernal Drake going to be taken. They have the backup of Roller and Core JJ just to ensure that there's no antics from SK Telecom. They will grab that one very swiftly on. The 7.5 minutes into this game, and there's a second one following up Papa Smithy. So maybe KSV winning out on this dice roll.
Well, they'll take whatever they can get when it comes to forcing a game number 3 for the side of KSV. Such a surreal thing that the season will end for one of these two teams very soon, as Blank has not been spotted.
But now that control ward's run down, so would have been spotted out. Tries to push him out of the realm warp, but will be able to do so. KSV now, yet again, looking like he's going to fall for that first blood. A flash over to the other side. Barrage comes down, and Tal will claim it yet again.
Too easy. After he was unable to take the realm warp, no way he was going to get out. Damage amp coming through from the press of the attack from the Trundle. Very nice stuff. We're not just seeing the Trundle as an answer to the Olaf. We're seeing it straight up as a power pick for Blank, trying to find a second champion to join his Zac as a must-ban away from him.
I say yet again, it was the first kill for SKT that he was able to get. First blood had gone over to KSV in game number 1, but either way, great roam to the top side. KSV is not prepared and gets pushed straight out of that realm warp.
And just like every other lane-dominant top laner, Ryze, Cassio, You lose the flash early, and suddenly your laning phase looks a lot more tenuous. Suddenly you aren't able to just walk up to the GP, sorry, and do a lot of damage. And now the next Trundle Pillar probably spells doom. So I'm not really sure why we saw the Summoner use against double Summoner available Trundle and Gangplank. Also the ultimate available on the GP, but what happens when you're in a high-pressure situation? Cuvée is usually one of the least likely to tilt, one of the most reliable players. That lets him down, and now the ability to grow the CS lead gets so much more risky for the side of the Rise.
Still doing all right as far as his item timings here. Tier stacking up as the catalyst. So hasn't been pushed off too much, but a repeat gank killing him without that flash, that will really offset the Rise here. As an Abyssal Voyage comes into the mid lane, looking for Faker. He's going to go in. It's going to be that Impale coming down to try to drag him out, but they don't make it very far, and Ambition's going to take more damage than Faker does, even with 3 members of KSV in the mid lane. So that was pretty poor.
It was pretty optimistic from the side of KSV. There wasn't enough action happening to distract the Abyssal Voyage from coming in, and then Faker just buffered his W, which meant there was no real displacement coming through from the Skarner ultimate. He wasn't actually able to pull him out of turret range, so actually Skarner loses flash and more health to Faker, who just walks away with the Aftershock and says no problem. Pretty heavy stuff, and it seemed a bit like desperation from KSV when desperation is not really something that the first 10 minutes of this game really needed.
Yeah, not really warranted at the moment here. When it's just the 1 kill going over and only 500 gold separating both squads, but you know, they saw an opening, they wanted to go for it. Doesn't really pay off in the end, as Cuvée just going to be taking that hit. Marley ripping him apart. Phage and Sheen, so Tal is going to be in a very nice spot, as now it's going to be Crown getting jumped on. Taunt comes down, nice pillar, placed there by Blank. He'll throw up the ultimate. He'll be able to keep himself alive, doesn't have to burn the flash. Meanwhile, on the bottom side, Ruler taking a massive amount of damage. Devour comes in just before the concussive blows. Core JJ will spin him out. Ruler going to try to answer back some damage here onto the Braum. Will chunk out effort. No kills on either side.
No lane control for the Caitlyn. Successful gank doesn't happen in the mid lane. But Crown has to back anyway because the Chrono Shift doesn't pop, so he's very low on health and has to go for the recall. Now seeing the Hero's Entrance.
Yeah, Hero's Entrance coming down. Will get the pop-up Ambition going alone. They need the Devour, but it's not available. Where JJ just cannot save him, and now he's going to be dangerously low. Has to evade the barrage, still coming down. As they're stuck underneath the turret, Crown comes in from around the side, finds a stun in onto Faker, but the Blast Cone takes him out to safety. Now Bang will have to burn the flash. Had to use the E just to get over the wall, so at least costs him a summoner spell, but it's 2-0 here for SKT and 1,000 gold up.
And they're using their information so well. They knew Flash was down on Ambition. It was used in the mid lane, so return to it, able to chase him down and pick up another kill. Even more significant cost for Ambition than the failed gank represented initially. Effort can come back to lane. No advantage around the Caitlyn lane again, and it's just sliding into the new normalcy for KSV, as it seems to be just another early game where they can't hit their win conditions. And SKT, credit to them, they're on the ball. This seems like the SKT that has ramped up as this lineup over the last 2 weeks of the season. It's a welcome return to form for SKT and their legions of fans.
Oh, now Ruler, yet again getting jumped on, but not going to get caught by that Mystic shot. No concussive blows yet again, and he trades back a decent amount there onto Effort, who just rejoined with the TP. Ruler is at least staying a bit ahead as far as the CS is concerned, so the Caitlyn, the item timing should be coming through relatively easily here. It's just going to be a blue buff handoff for Crown. Pops that one over. You can see that they're getting prepped right now for that dragon that's going to be spawning in 50 seconds. Double Infernal still has to be a bit of a worry for SK Telecom despite the lead they currently find themselves with.
But now at least pushing up vision, rotating with the Zillion, all things that are very possible for KSV. Some summoners are down, so the chance of an Impale being successful is higher for the side of KSV. Drakes are really the only thing they can trade upon. Cuvé's happy he's been able to lane through his flash being down and keep up a CS lead. Triforce is ready, no Cannon Barrage just yet. SKT do not have the same winning lane in top lane, but they do have the same strong engage this game they can return to.
Yep, no Rod of Ages there for Crown. Faker's got his completed. Will be stacked up around the 22-23 minute mark. See where he wants to go. Does he just replicate the same exact build? Get the Zonias yet again with the Luden's Echo? Now SKT, though, will start up this Infernal. Want to deny that double away from KSV, and seems like they will be successful in doing so. Effort pushing everybody back. Dragon goes low. Ambition trying to find his way in, but the pillar will slow him up. Bomb comes down, not going to find the take. SKT able to claim that one, and now Core JJ getting jumped on. Glacial Fisher comes in. Ambition cut off. He'll go down. The ultimate there from the Zillion will help keep him alive, and actually Devour comes in from Core JJ. Maybe they've saved his life. Mystic shot being body blocked there. Bang goes forward, finds one more tag onto Ambition, but he's still cutting his way back. And now Blank's going low. He's going to have to jump out of there, but the bombs come down. They find the kill onto Blank. Faker arrives. Big Galio exhaust comes in. Bang goes over the arcane shift, finds one. Mystic shot in onto the ruler, and the bombs are just barely missing. The Ezreal manages to skirt around the backside of the fight. He will stay alive. It seems like ruler, he's still fishing for it, but he'll be running into multiple members of SK Telecoms. He's got to be careful.
So many kite options for both sides. I mean, these fights are super extended, even after the objective went down.
Wow.
Side of SKT. They got value out of the chrono shift that wasn't apparent, because they were able to just keep the Skarner alive through all of this. We watched the replay. The pillar placement to the start was something to complement there, as it stopped Skarner getting into smite range until far too late. From there, you just assumed Trundle would be able to take down Ambition, the sacrifice from the Skarner, but instead, very nice evacuation from KSV. Not able to group with QV, who has to waste his time DPSing into the Galio, but so many low members everywhere. Trundle goes down. So many disengage as well. Very, very extended fight, but it ends up a 1-for-1.
Core JJ barely getting taken down there. Looked like that would have been just kind of the one and done for SK Telecom. Kill Ambition, everyone goes their separate ways. Instead, we get a very extended skirmish where Ambition miraculously does manage to stay alive. So good effort there from Core JJ, but at the end of the day, it's a 1-for-1 with SKT getting the Infernal Drake, so still going to be a trade up for them, as they also still maintain that gold lead. So now, no double Infernal for the side of KSV. At 16% would have been very, very nice for them, as this Caitlyn starts picking up more and more items. See those massive crits come through.
Because the summoners on both sides, something that Ambition, now with Flash back up, may be able to return to. Hail is off cooldown as well. Problem with these turret pressure kite comps that KSV is running is you have to do that against a Galio who can instantly react, and they've been unable to pick up early turrets to vindicate some of the drafts that KSV are trying to pull off. They can bait away a hero's entrance, a lot can be done, and we've already mentioned that when you run a comp like this, the long cooldown ultimates down from SKT, you can return to this. Putting down 3 traps, trying to take some turrets. I'd love to get the bot lane turret down pre-20 minutes. Weren't really able to do that in game 1, and already going to be tricky in game number 2.
Blank here to back them up. Ambition waiting in the brush. Will get spotted out now as he pushes forward just to throw down a control ward, try to gain more room here into the bottom side. Stun comes in. Blank's going to get locked down. The Impale comes in. They'll slow him up with that tongue lash. Q from Ruler there, not going to get a connection in onto the Trundle, and he'll be able to walk away with his life. And now Cubit comes in around the back, looking for Faker. Will get the Rune Prison down. That's going to be Abyssal Voyage coming through. Several members looking to lock down Faker, but he can just jump his way out of there with a hero's entrance.
No easy interrupt. Takes 2 spells for the Zillion to interrupt, so nicely done by Faker. He does get away. The teleport was committed to by QV, and they're not actually grouping around bot lane turrets. They're going to lose a lot of turret HP in top. And QV is going to walk up, low on mana, but does not want to lose his turret now. He might just, as Trinity Force has been completed.
It's all really ripping that one apart. QV will arrive in time to stop it from going down, however. So buys it a little bit more time left here on the Rift. And it's just going to be triple Infernal. Just now noticing that coming through. Very interesting way to enter into game number 2 with SKT in the lead. See who's going to pick that one up in about 4 minutes' time. For now, KSV still looking to take down this turret. Effort blocking as much damage as he can with the Unbreakable. Will deny some away from Ruler. The wave clear is quite strong as Bang takes a massive hit.
Advantage here is that Blank has to jungle bot side to try to delay this turret going down. We already mentioned that QV wants to overextend to do damage onto the gangplank. He has no worry of Trundle being topside. There's no reason for Trundle to be topside. You feel trolled if you did see Trundle topside. So you know he's bot side. Ryze pushes up, but now we're seeing SKT look for this last second defense.
Crown coming in as well to zone them away. Ambition will tank this up. They will be able to get that first turret of the game, so KSV swings himself into the slightest of gold leads here, just 300 ahead. Batal, he's ready and prepped to take down this turret if he can just get a little bit more alone time with it.
He's returning. Still going to be a teleport advantage. Tar will have that available very shortly. And right with first turret here.
That's a good stat for them.
It's decent, but they're the 5th place team. So 5th for the 5th place team. It's not something they've been particularly strong with. And KSV, you know, at the end of the day, haven't been one of our strongest teams. And we quoted already that SKT against opposition in the top 5 that isn't KSV are 2-12. It's kind of a weird scenario we find ourselves in here where one of these stories, the redemption arc for the 2 World Championship teams, ends here as a failure for one of these 2 teams. Either SKT back up their 2nd place finish with a surprising playoff run, just getting there, but aren't able to get further, looking unlikely as this game is gone. Or our world champions are out at the first time of asking, miss out on Rift rivals, miss out on really being able to back up their world success with Korean success. Does feel like a potential redemption arc is cut short with this potential game number 2.
Yeah, Rift Rivals and MSI, all that out the window if they can't excel right here. And even then, they still have to make it all the way to the end and take down King Zone.
You can only beat who's in front of you, and SKT trying to run the gauntlet 2 seasons in a row. In a good spot in game number 2, but the game is very finely poised. 2-kill lead, but no gold lead for either team.
Infernal is up, would be 2nd for either. Ruler's going to go ahead, starts this up. Yeah, Vision in front and around the pit. The rest of KSV is just trying to gatekeep, stop SKT from pushing forward. Crown tossing out the bombs, threatening the stun and the turn as best as he can. Ruler is just taking this down solo here for the moment. Ambition hovering nearby so he can get the smite off. They get a stun in onto Blank. He's going to look to push forward, but 2nd Infernal out there for KSV. It looks like they just want to exit without fighting.
Surprising amount of respect shown by SKT. I feel like they have the answer to a Skarner ultimate as
Faker
thinks about going over, it doesn't. He understands that with the first bomb there might be vision there. There was control wards. That's weird, but
talking to him like he was a dog needing a stern talking to.
Well, he doesn't go in. KSV still looking.
Ambition goes in with a flash, gets the lockdown there onto the bomb.
Oh, baby!
Glacial Fisher coming in, and Faker this time finds it. Crown keeps himself alive there with the Chrono ship, but the Caitlyn is dead. Ruler's been taken out of the fight, and Ambition is barely alive. One more tick there off that Gallery Q would have taken him down, and they just can't answer anything here. 3 kills over to the side of SKT. Make it 4 as Cube will fall. Effort will die to the turret in the end as Faker desperately tries to keep him alive. And now SKT, they say, okay, you know what? You guys got the 2nd Infernal. We're going to go ahead and take a Baron.
And SKT have drafted the earlier power spike. They've drafted the 5v5 comp. KSV open up for a 5v5. Invite one with the engage coming through from Skarner. Maybe he's baited by the fact that SKT gave them the Infernal. But SKT have Hero's Entrance. They have the ability to turn around any sort of picks like that. They will get the Baron easily. And KSV not being able to play this map like they wanted to, play this map with sieging turrets. They're forcing fights against a team they cannot beat in 5v5, and they're taking heavy casualties as a result. Watching the replay here.
Ace.
Yeah, Roller goes down first, so you know that this is going to be a lost team fight for the side of KSV. They're also opting into 5v5 team fights against a Trinity Force and Mana Moon Ezreal when the Caitlyn is still getting items together. They don't have the damage items to kill. They don't even have Infinity Edge on the Caitlyn yet. You get the instant Impale, and then what follows it up? I don't think Cuvée and Ruler can DPS down anyone other than Ezreal, and they're getting nowhere near the Ezreal.
They're going for the Braum. Bit of a stretch there. He died in the end, so I guess their original target did get taken down, but that's about it. It was the turret doing the majority of the work there. So now 7-2. SK Telecom with the Baron can go ahead and use this to shatter the remaining turrets here on the outside of the map. Already have quite the significant lead, where before it was just a couple hundred separating them. Now moves forward to nearly 4,000 in their favor.
There's another type of significance I want to talk about. No significant discrepancy for the farm between Gangplank and Ryze this game.
Yeah.
Ryze was able to build a CS lead earlier, but couldn't capitalize on it. Tal has had a lot of free time in the side lanes. He's now able to reach farm parity with the Ryze at 23 minutes, and even got a Hex Drinker for the lane as well. So. Yeah. No lane busting like the Cassiopeia available for Cuvée on the Ryze.
I was going to say, because of that, he can actually just go ahead, sit in the side lane against the Ryze and not have that much worry. But
Baker's
now Baker,
all alone.
He's in a really questionable spot. The taunt comes down, Impale used by Ambition. He still hasn't been DPS down. He's going to go in, Justice punching on a Ruler. He'll stay alive because of the Chrono ship, but he's surrounded by members of SKT. Bang will find the kill. Effort now trying to exit with the Unbreakable up. Will be able to do so. Cubase getting jumped on, takes a massive amount of damage as Bang comes over the wall. Missing shots connecting onto him, but they don't want to pursue too much deeper because they haven't even broken this outside turret yet, but now they're going to be looking to do so as the minion wave moves up.
So the KSV we've seen too many times this season. They're trying to get a pick on Faker, but through Aftershock, they can't kill him. They don't have damage to do so. They're not playing around their win conditions. They're trying to play see hero, kill hero. It's not working.
Faker, he's still feeling a bit feisty there. Goes forward, gets locked down with the Rune Prism, takes a lot of damage yet again. Still is managing to stay alive, but the stun comes in. This time, Crown able to get the stop on the hero's entrance, and Faker will be punished.
It's a weird world.
It's a really weird thing going on right now in this game.
I feel like Faker got baited again by being like, well, I just can't die. I'm cool.
He got baited by his own hubris.
Yep. To be fair, a lot of hubris. He is a great all-time legend.
Oh,
Best player to ever play League of
If
Legends.
anyone should have hubris,
Exactly.
it's Faker.
Exactly. Earned hubris.
Yeah. He's not actually delusional.
It's been a weird and wonderful season for Faker because he's had so many moments where he died not watching his champion.
Yeah, died to the redemption coming through
Yeah.
while he was shopping. That was the start of it.
He's been caught in the shop maybe 5 times, 4 times.
I remember casting 2 of them, and then there was a couple others.
It was a lot of times. But he also has now found himself in a different spot. He's on Galio. He knows what his job is in this particular game. Very much about answering the Skarner ultimate with his ult. It feels like Skarner does all the work, and he's like, this seems like a pretty good place to put the hero's entrance in. He's going for a walk. He's largely tanky. And with Bang in the sort of form he is, he's on the Ezreal, Ultra Comfort. It's already onto 3 items. Well, he can afford to make a couple of side steps. No harm, no foul for Faker.
Doesn't cost them much in the end. Just his life, but nothing else. KSV can't really push forward at all. Vision around the river is pretty much entirely lacking. Just one on the ramp on the south side.
KSV fall back. Crown can just be turned on. See
he's
how
just-
much damage you take. Very squishy build. Might die.
He's going to be, yeah, ripped apart there. Chrono Shift does come in just in case that True Shot Barrage was going to hit him and in case it was enough damage to finish him off. Bang poking in from the side. They've already done a significant amount of work onto this mid inner turret. And it should just be a matter of time here for SKT to go ahead and knock that one down. Can take that and then just fall back over to this Cloud Drake that is spawning in 15 seconds. Because again, it's a nice pickup these days given the in-combat movement speed.
And just KSV don't own anything at Kilios. Feels like this whole game is on lease for them because they can't get to anywhere on the map. They can't walk up 5v5. They don't have any control wards apart from very shallow ones to protect the rise. And if they face check, a pillar comes down and they have to devour the Skarner of all people. So now they know the Devour's on cooldown. The Cloud Drake is free if they want it. KSV have to fight so hard to get anywhere on the map, but otherwise SKT, they own everything.
Yep, Cloud Drake will be taken. So going to be a nice little denial there. Ambition, I'm sure he would have liked to have had some of that in-combat movement speed for when the Impale goes up. But will not be so. Second Dragon there for SK Telecom. Mountain going to be the 3rd one before we have Elder come up. Baron's going to be on the way yet again in a minute and a half. KSV, they need to move up their vision lines, but doing so safely is rather difficult here because they just have no idea where SKT is.
Bizarre one from the champs, like, to me, is the Caitlyn priority at Kilios. Seen 2 games in a row.
Very weird.
And you have a game like this where you want to run Skarner. You need to kill the person he's impaling. They don't have the ability to do that. I could understand if you went a very different build. If you went, say, Yankos build and went for the Zeke's Convergence on the Skarner and ulted someone, and then maybe with the damage amp you can take someone down. But they just can't kill the person they're impaling. They can't get access to the Ezreal and the Gangplank, easily able to disengage from a suppression. And 2 games in a row, and 3 games on the season, they've picked Caitlyn, lost lane, and then haven't had the damage output in teamfights they desperately need.
It was a good read by SKT to ban away the Xayah. Knew that probably would have been a very major pickup for KSV, even with the nerfs coming through.
And KSV had to ban it against SKT, of course, because SKT are one of the teams that are happy to run Xayah without Rakan. They have actually looked past Rakan in some games and just gone for a different support because Bang is undefeated and so good on the Xayah. And it just feels like with the...
Oh, Core JJ maybe getting caught here. Flashes away from the Q. Barrage is going to come down as they keep chasing forward, but Ruler able to get himself out of that with the 90 caliber net.
But with a change to Ragebait, it feels like he won't play Varus either. And with that being gone and the Tristana Nurse, it feels like Bang's champion pool also is a big problem here. Not Bang, sorry. Ruler's champion pool also a big problem for KSV.
Could have had the Ezreal. Could have had pretty much anything. Tristana, even if you wanted it. His Ambition.
He's got
His
no
way
idea.
over, gonna be face checking. Pillar gonna come down. Doesn't completely cut him off. It's good zoning bombs there by Crown to go ahead and keep SKT staved off, but Faker's fishing for another taunt. Will not happen. TP coming through from Tal, gonna arrive straight up into the front of the fight. As KSV just clearing out the minions here for now. Really trying to get any amount of HP back that he can. Continue poking down the members of SKT in case they want the all-in.
All flashes up except for core JJ's. Faker aware of that, that's why he didn't invest into the flash taunt. Back away, we reset. So many control wards for SKT around the Baron. Almost no way for KSV to check the brush without being sighted by a control ward. Some of those will inevitably go down, but SKT can always shop and buy more. Juve finally feels the ability to leave the team and go back to the 1v1. It's actually going to be answered by Galio this time.
Ruler chunking down effort as best as he can, but just can't stick forward to try to take down that turret. 3-1 in that regard. So SKT still sitting ahead nicely with their gold lead. But have been pushed back away from the Baron here for the moment, so Ambition going to be able to get control over some of that area there, but can't do anything about the Scuttle Crab.
Control wards are answered outside of the one that Juve now Crown is spotting around the red buff, so no longer is there vision supremacy for SKT in that area. Strangulation drops off for a moment, but does mean shopping trips. Essence Reaver return for the Gangplank. Very, very high damage Gangplank build. It's actually not a trivial thing to speak about, Achilles, because usually when you're in a bad matchup, think back to Cassiopeia matchup for Juve last game when he was on the GP, you go an emergency build, you say, oh crap, I need to get the defensive item, need Sterix as fast as possible. Whereas in a bad matchup, Rise has creamed Gangplank in lane 1v1 in the LCK earlier this season. He's been able to go the highest damage build, only taking a half step towards a Hex Drinker. And now it's going to be IE Essence Reaver, which we almost never see. We usually see GP versus Camille, where you need Sterix early, and other emergency purchases. This is going to be a high damage Gangplank, even after the Kleptomancy no longer is picked up, and the Bandit Gold is gone.
Yeah, Tal's feeling pretty comfortable, I guess is the best way to put it.
Maybe he is actually the answer to the prayers of the SKT fans who've been hoping for a top laner for the longest time. Even Huni was always half in, half out of the SKT team in 2017. Only Duke really satisfied them in terms of 1v1 laners.
Yeah.
It's a small sample size, but this Tal we're seeing is a step forward. There's that Turbo Skarner.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. Super fast there on the Skarner, but doesn't find a way in for the Impale. Doesn't have a prime enough target, but now Ruler going to get jumped on. Taunt comes down to Devour there from Core JJ, but he's going to get popped up and slowed up by the Barrage. One more hit, concussive blows will get procced. Core JJ will get popped. Chrono Shift comes through, but he is completely isolated, and Cube just disappears. Blank and Tal both go forward, get a bit more damage there onto the members of KSV as Core JJ desperately tries to make it out with his life, but cannot do so. Faker is hot on his heels, will be able to take him down. He's in the hole blocked by the Unbreakable Effort, going to stay relatively healthy, and SKT look for yet another Baron. KSV have to stop this. The smite's available there from Ambition. Ruler looking for Faker. He gets a taunt onto Crown. Can they take him down? One more hit would do it, and there it is. Bang with a Mystic Shot. Manages to find the kill. Ruler and Ambition have to kite their way back, but SKT can just return straight back over to Baron.
That's what we said in Champions Select Achilles. He can't 5v5 against this comp. The value of the Zillion ultimate is so low, and there's so much zone control from the taunt, from the pillar, that they just return, put down a Gangplank ultimate, and there's so much terrain that KSV can't pass. Can they pass SKT? They need to steal this Baron.
Yeah, they really need it, but now they're going to be cut off. TP coming through from Faker as he returns. Just a punch in onto Ambition, locks him down. Taunt comes through. Faker is just chewing up all this damage. Baron goes over. Faker will exit with the hero's entrance. SKT claim another Baron.
You can almost hear him doing the Scion thing and yelling cowards as he gets away for a second time on the Galio. Slickly done by SKT. Ruler can only push mid, but finds the minions buffed up and can't push down. And a second time in a row, KSV has played a comp around lane supremacy and sieging, opted into teamfights, lost them against the teamfight comp, and now they lose Baron for the third or fourth, I believe, time this series. Between 3 or 4, all of them have gone the way of SKT. They're going to take a Mountain Drake as well. While there are double Infernals for KSV, they're one teamfight away from being out of playoffs.
This is not looking good. Ever since that first desperate play, the flash in by Ambition to try to get the Impale, he found effort. They couldn't kill him. Ever since then, it's just been a downward spiral for KSV.
Oh, come on. Achilles been, unfortunately, the whole season for KSV after the first couple of weeks.
I was talking about this game in particular, but yes, you are correct.
We have to zoom out because KSV is very unlikely to play again until summer season, and the world champions looked in world championship form for 2 weeks. And then so often, their champion pools have worked against them. Their macro has not been great. There's been no difference between Haru and Ambition when it comes to jungle champion pool. The Rengar, a thing of the past. And sadly, for KSV, they've never gotten a handle on the meta for the past month and a half.
Ruler taking a massive amount of damage. Bang feeling it. Flashes forward, trying to get the Mystic shot there to finish him off, but cannot do so. Ruler will go back to the fountain. They'll try to stay alive, and Ambition, I don't think he's going to make it. The Devourer does come up there. They invested the Chrono Shift as well from Crown to keep him alive and in the fight, but you can just see how little SKT cares about this Skarner.
Looking to break the base here. So little KSV can do.
Baker goes forward, finds the taunt in onto Cube, takes a massive burst of damage. That's that AP Galio right there, and Cube as well is going to have to kite his way back. Oh! One more hit would finish him off. No one can find him, though. He'll go back, he'll retreat, he'll heal up, but SKT have broken the base. The first inhibitor falls.
And while the story of KSV has been that downward descent, SKT's been up and down, Achilles. They've had so many different rosters they've tried to run in the spring season. They finally settled on Tal in the top lane, Effort in support, the longtime favorite in Wolf on the bench. And it's been working. Even Blank has been able to show a performance on a champion other than Zac. And that's why you're heartened by SKT. At least the fans could see tangible change again and again with the 10-man roster. KSV only has the six that were able to bring the World Championship. But in an 18 best-of-3 season, they have not had the assortment of players or the preparation to take down their enemy teams often enough, whereas SKT, they've had to try many different things, but at least the reward now is they have something ready for the meta at hand.
And other teams are going to have to start getting concerned about when it comes down to drafting versus SKT. KT especially, since it seems like they are going to be facing off against SK Telecom very shortly, unless something turns around swiftly for KSV. They have to figure out how they want to approach the draft, because banning out Blank just leaves up so many options for SKT, including that Kai'Sa, the Galio here from Faker. They've shown that if the Zac and the Trundle are available, they will pick it in the first round. So targeting out Blank just opens up the rest of the squad. It's a very precarious spot to be in if you're anticipating a future matchup versus SK Telecom right now.
I think if you're a KT, you don't think about the pick-ban mind games that SKT's making. You try to make your own and get them to react, because now you're like, do we have to ban Trundle in the first round? So many questions. No question that another turret's going to roll down for SKT. The pillar value. Every time Trundle comes back in the meta, whether it's top lane, jungle, or support, you're reminded how filthy an ability the Pillar of Ice is. And KSV, unfortunately, they missed their window in this game. They could never get ahead in terms of the top lane, as Rise and GP have traded farm. GP's been afforded a very high damage build, going IE Essence Reaver for more AD than you see from games like this early, outside of very early days of patch 8.1, 8.2. Now SKT fall back, and are they going to wait for the Elder? Are they going to continue to push through the lanes? Everything's an option for SKT.
11-3, 3 Drakes. Elder going to be on the way shortly. SK Telecom have all but closed out this game here versus KSV. They're looking for the 2-0. They're looking for another inhibitor here in the mid lane. Faker goes in, finds the flash onto one. Devour comes down, keeps Cube alive here for the moment.
One big ultimate down. So one zoning tool. Going to be on cooldown.
Barrage has been used. And SKT do struggle to get in range to take down this inhibitor. Ambition still threatening forward here for that Impale.
Only one range champion, so very difficult to siege down an objective. They'll take the inhibitor turret, but taking down the second inhibitor is going to be tricky. No Thresh to extend the range of the Impale. So we'll see if there's actually damage to kill someone like Blank, who seems like a pretty prime target. Needs to be someone.
I'm sure they'd be happy to just get rid of those damn pillars.
Cooldown is not long. So unfortunately, not going to be available. No QSS. Blank, he has to take it on the chin if he's going to be the one that is going to be impaled away. Everyone else has a pretty easy answer. Bang being in this form is the big difference, of course. Some of our fans won't be joining us for this match. They haven't been watching since the World Final. And you'll remember that Bang's struggles and Ruler's ascendancy was really what that World Final was about. Bang has been in much better for him this season. It's still got criticism. There's still people who aren't willing to forgive and forget, who say KDA player is he's our highest KDA player. And he's definitely had games where his team has lost and he's been deathless and you're like, what was Bang doing? But you can't really pinpoint too many clips where you're like, well, Bang wasn't doing damage here, he was just running away like a headless chicken.
Yeah.
Where was the damage? He's just had to be the carry in a lot of games with a lot of wayward play from everyone, including Faker, has had down games. You can point to maybe one down game for Bang on the season on Caitlyn and no other down games. He's been a rock of consistency that they were lacking at 2017 Worlds.
He's been absolutely huge this season. Bang trying to make another run. Be considered the best ADC here in the world, and he's making quite the strong argument. Deathless so far here on this Ezreal. Elder Dragon now spawned, and SKT have gotten the inside track onto this objective. KSV had to peel back out of respect. Bang goes forward, looking for Ruler, gets a couple shots in. Pillar comes down. Shot Barrage chunks Ruler down, but he just keeps healing right back up. So no real pressure gain here by SKT, but Bang is just showing that he is willing to go in by himself if need be. We already saw it from the Kai'Sa, but even with the Ezreal, he's still perfectly willing.
SKT trying to get QV to group, and now it is a 5v5. Terrain owned by SKT.
Ruler jumped on yet again. Devour comes down. Now that tool gone. KSV cutting their way back. Mirage comes through. SKT, this might be the fight that they want. Stun comes in. Bang gets locked down, but he is still going to be all right. Ruler, one more shot to take him out.
He's not out of the fight, though. He can life steal up from the minion way, so he can actually return. The fact that he doesn't die means it's still 5v5.
Good old Bloodthirster does bring him back in. Now SKT poking up towards that Baron. Another pillar comes through. Bomb finds a stun onto Bang. He's down to half HP.
Oh! It's one rotation from the barrels, but sadly, for the side of SKT, the lifesteal's still there. They walk up. They still have not got mid lane outer turret. The minions pushing in top. Observer does point out on the mini-map.
Gonna be chipping away at that one there as the waves keep crashing in. Ruler just trying to poke down the members of SKT where he can.
They are losing out on the mini-map to make this play, and SKT can always all in. Cannon Barrage about 25 seconds off cooldown.
Yeah. Ambition's not with him at the moment. He's clearing out vision. They're aware of this. Faker pushing forward. Pillar comes down. Doesn't find his way in, but just rips Ruler apart down to half HP yet again. But the Bloodthirster will maintain him in the fight. Here at the moment. Tall trades back, but Ruler has got some bite to him. Goes ahead and knocks that GP down about half HP. He's going back to the base, has the TP, so he can rejoin.
Now, poke onto Ruler doesn't matter. Poke onto Crown does stick. That's actually a lot more important. So, Crown being below 50% HP makes his position even more defensive, and he's not out in range of the Chrono Shift. Zillion will get very little value.
That's going to be less than. Barrage is even back up. This has just been extended skirmishing here. Sloshing around the mid side of the map. So Zal has that zone control ready to go yet again.
I mean, KSV's best hope is to make this game an ARAM. That's not exactly what they drafted for, but they understand that if they back away, they will give away Baron for free. They only have control around the area by sheer having 5 members around and being able to count vision. SKT, they have all the options. They start the Baron.
Crown's
what will KSV
back.
do?
He swaps out the cleanse, gets the teleport ready to go. Will go ahead, push the waves back with the bombs, but the Baron's down to half HP now. KSV try to get some vision around the backside of the pit. There's no control inside to deny this away, and now the TP comes out from Crown. SKT will just go ahead and peel back. See if they want to re-engage. For now, it's just going to be a Scuttle Crab and maybe going back to base.
When you've been in the mid lane for this long, there's no ability to have more vision, so you only have vision from having your own noggin in front of you. You don't actually have the ability to place any more wards because no one's been able to fall back. Blank finally falls back, doesn't buy a control ward. She buys an Elixir of Iron just for more team fight. But that's why we're seeing so much of a standstill around mid, is that the fallback routine for both teams is undefined as we move towards 6 items. Minion Wave pushing in top lane, finally, for KSV. Means we take a deep breath, we try to reset, and SKT says, what about we just rush back?
Yeah, how about we just go for it? Abyssal Voyage is going to have to be used there by Core JJ to try to join in. Will arrive in time as Ruler tries to clear out some of the vision. Control Ward is down this time. Baron down to half HP. Ambition has a Blast Cone if he can make his way into the pit. He's waiting. Go ahead, gets ready to pop over, comes in, can he get the takeaway? Yes, it does! KSV steal away the Baron. SKT now looking for a way to collapse in on top of them, but do not find it. They're still massively ahead, but KSV, they take a deep breath. Their hopes in this game are not yet over.
SKT tried to cheat, they tried to skirt around their win conditions, just try to steal one away. They don't get it. And now they give away the Baron to allow the game to extend, to allow the game to get to 6 items. One team fight might just decide this. With Ruler as strong as he is, you like the team fight comp from SKT. If they mess up one engage, they don't have a fallback, KSV could win.
Now we'll go from tiptoeing around the Baron to tiptoeing around this Elder Dragon. KSV pushing their way down. Will go ahead. They start this one up very boldly as they try to burn through this.
Is there any control
Already
wards
halfway
here?
dead. Blank. He's not going to get there in time. That's going to be that Elder Dragon getting picked up here by KSV, buffing up their double Infernal. Shot barrage comes through. Cuba's down to half HP.
They're not going to give them a
Blast Cone
free
gonna be denied
exit here.
They cannot make their way out of here. They're going to be pinched on all sides. They do have the fast recalls that they can buy themselves some space. Perhaps then they can get out, but they're just going to go ahead, throw down that Impale there, in onto Faker. He goes golden with his own. He's the Ruler pops him instantly with a headshot. Blank now trying to work his way back. He's getting slowed up. It seems like he will be able to retreat successfully. But they're still hot on their heels.
This game is so intense. They saw there were no control wards in the inventory and they said, why don't we just rush this? We're going to get it. They were correct on that assessment. We saw Blank go back. He bought Elixir of Iron rather than 3 control wards. While that's not going to be the entire story, it meant they were stifled from vision as a team, as no one else been able to recall.
They're
Look
not
at
done
the
yet.
gold everyone's sitting on. There's 5,000 gold on the damn Caitlyn.
They're just going to keep pushing forward here. They want the inhibitor. Their
might-
two have respawned.
They might try to end.
They still have 25 seconds until Faker comes back up. KSV, an absolute powerhouse right now with the double buffs ready to go. Bang! Chunking out Cube. The shields come down for the rise. Maybe just overstep. Bomb comes through.
He's back.
Yeah, has that one thrown down, trying to get a little bit more damage there onto the members of SKT. The Chrono Shift brings him back into the fight. The first Nexus turret goes down. KSV, I think they might have done it. Tall gets chunked out. They need to do something. They
Faker
need to do
in
it
3
right now.
seconds.
Faker coming back up as an absolute massive amount of damage to offer up here as this full AP Galio. As they try to hold out, Nexus now exposed. SKT, can they win this?
Chrono Shift is not going to be available for about 10 seconds. KSV, they know they're so close. The minion wave's coming back. I think they might try and rush it.
Bang gets chunked out there. Ruler clearing out the barrels, gets a lot of damage in on the tunnel. He takes a hit. It's going to be the Unbreakable there from Effort. Does block the rest of those shots coming through. Faker goes in, finds a top, but he really just catches core JJ. That's a
Cube's
pound
on
in.
the Nexus.
Cube, he's onto the Nexus. They have to cut their way back.
KSV's done it.
He's halfway dead. Bang tries to get over here, but it's just going to go down. KSV against the run of play with a gold deficit, steal away the Baron, get the Elder Dragon, buff up the Infernals, and they manage to take us to game number 3.
It's a highway robbery from a KSV in one passage of play. The ARAM extends again and again. It goes to the bot lane. The conga line ends up at the Nexus. And SKT was stretched in too many directions. It looked like KSV, when they were corralled after taking the Elder Drake, would be done. But in one passage of play that led to a mid lane ARAM, to a Baron steal, to Elder, no one got to recall. There was a handful of recalls after everything happened. And then from there, the game ended.
Absolute insanity. KSV doing what was looking to be impossible. Given the lead that SK Telecom had established, KSV was always second to the objectives. Didn't even break that mid-outer turret for the longest time. Steal away a Baron, get an Elder Dragon, and then push straight down the bot lane for a victory. Absolutely nuts.
SKT had done everything they needed to. They owned everything, and then they said, let's finish the Baron. If they had stopped the Baron earlier, if they'd backed away and just reassessed, but they tried to cheat. They took a step away from the checklist and says, what if we just jump to step 8? It'll be fine. It wasn't fine, even after all their great early work, and now it's the cruelest of all. It's a best of 1 for who plays KT in the next round of the playoffs.
SK Telecom, a best of 1, as you say, this final round to decide who goes on to play KT Rolster in a best of 5. KSV, you can see they're not ecstatic over the win. They know that there's still plenty of work to be done. Their hopes are holding on by a thread.
Really, really high tension stuff. It seemed like SKT had done all the hard work. We were ready to crown them into that next match against KT Rolster, but one passage of play, it fails them. They fall apart in some ways. They make the wrong decision, and now a lot of interesting decisions for this man on your screen in Coma. Are we sticking with the same 5 that have gotten those series victories? Are we changing the formula? What side are we jumping onto?
Yeah.
Well, we have 3 games of SKT on blue.
So many questions here for SKT as well as KSV. What are we going to see from Crown this time out? Is it going to go back to the Zillion? His 2015 pick finds success. The Chrono Shift instrumental in keeping his teammates alive. They've shown that they have that resting up their sleeve and could be willing to bring it back out again in game number 3. We're going to go to a quick break, ladies and gentlemen. When we come back, we will have the conclusion to this series and see who will be advancing into the best of fives.